Hello, and welcome to another one of these fantastic live streams at Nobody Studios. Today, we're talking about NewCo builders. So, getting to spend time with founders and leaders of NewCos within the studio. And today, I'm delighted to be joined by someone I've got to spend many almost years now at this stage, watching him grow as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, and also a founder of the fantastic company ThoughtForma, our intelligent no-code platform here in the studio. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the other half of the Edges, Gareth Edge. Welcome, Gareth. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Barry. Well, this is my maiden voyage on a live stream, so pretty excited. I've been following along with the awesome series that you and Nobody Studios have put together. So very happy and excited to actually be on one. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's we're delighted to have you. It's been great having yourself and Jason. Obviously, we had Jason on last week. He shared a lot about the sort of origin story for ThoughtForma, how you both sort of experienced this pain of how to give technology or put it in the hands of more people so they can bring their ideas to life in minutes. And it's been phenomenal. I say we actually bumped into each other at a conference a number of years ago where you two had just won a prize at an accelerator program and had the chance to sort of showcase your tools. And now today we're working in Nobody Studios. Ovations has been built on top of your platform, ThoughtForma, and you're running an alpha program at the moment where more and more people can start to use this tool. So it's been an amazing journey to watch you sort of grow as an entrepreneur, feel the twists, the turns, the banging our heads against the wall as they're trying to build this business. So for you and just to give people a little bit of a taster who might be only hearing about ThoughtForma for the first time, can you share a little bit about what ThoughtForma is and maybe a tiny bit of the inspiration for you about building it?
Yeah, sure. So, well, ThoughtForma, very simply, is an intelligent no-code platform that is built to help and guide people to bring their ideas to life in the form of web and mobile applications. We're currently using it, as you mentioned, inside the studio, inside Nobody Studios, to help them build out the technology of other portfolio companies. You mentioned one, Ovations, that's already built and launched and out in the wild, which is really exciting. But maybe just for people that are not actually familiar with the term no code, maybe I'll just add a little bit of color to that as well. So no code is a way for people to create apps and websites and other digital products really without having to write any code. So it tends to be kind of drag and drop or making use of visual programming to make the development easier and faster. But with ThoughtForma, we're actually taking it a bit further than that, and we're actually starting to incorporate artificial intelligence and really making no code intelligent. And we can touch on that a bit more in a second. Just picking up on my inspiration. Jason will have shared a lot of the background last week about our long careers in technology and some of the struggles that we've both shared together. And, really that's been one of the main impetus for us to try and seek better ways to build good quality software and also democratize it and bring it to the masses. But the thing that really sort of put the fire in my belly was this big turning point at the Web Summit conference where, one of a very well-known climate change activist was giving this speech where he was really sort of inviting all the technologists in a call to arms to help them or bring them into the fight against the climate change issue. And for me, that was my stand-up moment. It was kind of like, I definitely got goosebumps at that moment. I remember thinking, I need to do something here. This is my moment to help with this problem, through the use of technology. And it was really a realization that, there's probably tons and tons of amazing ideas that just remain locked in people's heads simply because they don't have the tools or the technical skills to bring them to life. And so that was my aha moment of, right, now's the time to do something about this, and pitched it to Jason. Jason subscribed to the idea. He was, working on something that could actually help with all of this at that particular point. Really, that was the birth of ThoughtForma back in the early days. So yeah,
Great to watch the not only the birth but the ascension into where you are today. You know, as you said, and your story, I think, is especially for a NewCo builders show like this to help other entrepreneurs. Like, what's it like to go on that entrepreneurial journey? You know, for many people, they probably sit in many conferences that are inspired or compelled by what a speaker might share, but often struggle to take action. And I think what's most admirable about yourself and Jason is that you guys sort of started literally in the garage with this, you know, working full-time jobs, evenings and weekends, you know, getting the beginnings of your prototype together, you know, shopping that around at various different concerts and getting picked up and winning some early awards, which is fantastic by embracing serverless as a technology. It is from its sort of very inception. And yet now, you know, here you are now today, you know, and you're sort of within Nobody Studio. So can you share, you know, a little bit just from your own personal story about, you know, that transition, about choosing to sort of go after this passion that you had and finding a way to sort of get started before entering the studio?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, startup land is a ruthless, harsh, and unforgiving landscape. You know, that'll knock you down daily, often multiple times daily.
3 times a day, yeah, for sure.
But I think, you know, for your first sort of foray into startups, I always say a healthy dose of naivety is pretty helpful to begin with. Because otherwise you might never take the leap. But once you do, you know, you realize that you're on this incredible journey, and you know, you never really look back. But the big realization for me is really that it's all about the people that are around you. You know, you quickly discover that it's not about the person at the top. It takes a village. You discover how hard it is to build a startup, and you know, you quickly met with hurdles and roadblocks on every step of the way. Whether that be, you know, not having enough capital, not having the right skills and resources, the difficulties in finding product market fit. You know, the more you venture in, the more you realize what you don't know. So the biggest lesson for me really is find good people, find good coaches, mentors, or advisors. You know, we were very fortunate to meet you very early on in our journey. You know, and you helped us navigate the chaos, put some structure around the chaos, which is really helpful, especially for me. I like to have a bit of structure in my life, and startup land is definitely not structured. But you also helped us to get out of some of the traps that early founders often find themselves in. You know, things like what's referred to as the build trap, where you get stuck in this continual loop of just building features, thinking, oh, if I just had this whizzy feature, then we could release it. But you never run out of whizzy features, you know, that you'd love to share with the world. So, you know, you introduced us to the world of hypothesis-driven development and just getting stuff out there early, you know, so that you can get feedback from people. And the value of early feedback is just gold.
Yeah, no, it's been honestly, like I say, to see you and Jason just evolve both as entrepreneurs and founders has just been a joy. You know, it warms my heart every time I'm having a bad day. I always look forward to having a call with you guys because you just keep reminding me, like you say, how hard this is, but that it's possible. And you know, as you say, sometimes a bit of naivety is needed to throw yourself into these crazy missions. And you know, it's great to see all the traction you're having. So for someone like yourself as well, like are other builders out there who are thinking, wow, like a studio model. So, you know, there's so many different ways to build companies, and it's not like there's ever one right way. It's really, as you say, it's right for the business and what you're trying to create. Some people want to have the idea, build it, fund it, find the team, ring the bell on the NASDAQ. Sure, you know, I mean, we'll always cheer those people on at the studio. But for someone like yourself, can you share a little bit about what was your inspiration to come into the studio and what you sort of got out of that experience?
Yeah, sure. Really, I would say that coming into the studio was probably the biggest milestone on our journey so far. You know, it was really at a point where it was kind of make or break for us. You know, we were very short on capital at that particular point. We were considering what our future looked like. We knew that we needed to raise funds in some way, but it was really, we were faced with a brick wall of potentially having to stop it all and go back to our previous lives of 9 to 5. But that just did not feel right to us. Really, the opportunity, you brought the opportunity to us. And as soon as you mentioned it to me, it felt right. It seemed to have all the ingredients that we were looking for in order to grow our company and take it to where it needed to be. They were offering skills and resources. They were obviously offering some capital as well, but they were also offering us the opportunity to actually build real world companies on top of ThoughtForma. So all of these aspects sort of come together at the right time, and it just felt like a perfect blend of what we needed, and also a perfect alignment of our visions as well. Nobody Studios' vision is to create 100 compelling companies in 5 years, and really sort of change the world with the kind of companies that they're looking to build. And that aligns with our vision, which is to bring people's ideas to life in the form of digital applications. So the two just married very, very well. And then our very first meeting with the chief nobody, Mark McNally, I knew straight away after that this was meant to be. And just the approach of Nobody Studios as well. The very first thing that we decided to do together was to do a trial. Let's see if we're a fit for one another. And our trial was to start to build out the beginnings of Ovations. And, it was, again, that experience itself was where we got to meet some great people. We got to meet Ray Leonard Jr., who's the CEO of Ovations. We got to meet some great people that were spread all over the world. So we were working in remote mode from day one. Designers, product people, who all came together, strangers to begin with, but very quickly, made some magic happen. And it was that magic really that sold it. Very quickly we made the decision, look, we need to be a part of the studio, and the studio agreed.
It's been great having you, and I think one of the fascinating, again, points, as you mentioned, which are fabulous about your own experiences, but this notion that really appealed, I think, from a studio perspective, of these building block type companies. So we know in the portfolio that we're going to need to offer these capabilities, classic ones like you described, like sales, marketing, and talent hiring, capital raising. These are all the, I think, basic capabilities you'd hope to offer in a studio such as ours. But then you start to think about technology components or building block companies. And ThoughtForma is just such a great example of a company we have in our portfolio that we can build other companies on top of, such as Ovations. And both companies get to learn together. You collaborate with these founders. You learn together. You get smarter together. You grow value together. And even just this announcement on last Friday with the Adjacent Possible, which is another fantastic company joining the studio, focused around intellectual property rights management. We're in the business of turning ideas into companies, and protecting ideas means that we probably need to know a little bit about intellectual property and patents. So why wouldn't we have a company that focuses on creating and capturing IP? And then let's go build that idea on top of ThoughtForma. It seems it's just like the win of the ages. So one of the things I think is really important, though, for people to think about what's so unique about ThoughtForma is it's not just a serverless no-code platform. It's actually a category-defining moment. And for many people who have been following the world of AI and using machine learning and data to inform and drive better decisions of product design, you're building that or baking that right into your platform from today in this notion of intelligent no-code, which I'm unbelievably excited about. I know you and Jason are probably even more excited about, because you're getting to build this every day. So for the folks at home, can you share a little bit about what intelligent no-code is? And then we'll talk a little bit about your upcoming alpha program that people can sort of get involved in.
Yeah, sure. It is really exciting, I have to say. Intelligent no-code is where we're looking to really redefine the no-code space. So all the current players in that space at the moment they're doing a great job, and they're making really good inroads into helping build applications. But there's more to it than that. They're not offering the complete solution. So we still think that there's a big gaping hole that needs to be filled here. Part of the problem of building applications is the number of experts that you need and how scarce they are as a resource. But even if you can use the current no-code platforms to build applications, there's still tons of handoffs to other experts. From designers, you've got to have a good designed layout, for instance. Then there's data analysts and data experts to come and analyze the usage of your data so that you can start making it or making improvements on your applications. There's infrastructure engineers as it starts to scale. So that, to us, it feels like the problem's not being solved yet. It still keeps coming full circle back to the original issue, which is that there's not enough skilled technologists to cope with the growing demand. So building is kind of one part of the problem. But once you've got your application launched, there's still this lack of knowledge on how to improve it. And that's probably the most important thing for a business. Once you've got your application out there, it's about optimizing the usage of it in order to generate better revenues, ultimately to improve your business. And so this is what we're looking to attack with intelligent no code. Actually, we shorten that. We actually refer to it as no code in ThoughtForma. And this is really all about taking the good intentions of no code and where they've got to so far, but completing the picture and really adding the know-how and the intelligence on top of that. So, it's about guiding the user in the areas that would normally require expertise and additional skills. So we see this as things like giving assistance, giving recommendations on how to build. We're currently doing some really exciting stuff with generative AI at the moment. And this is where we're using it to just build an initial version of your application from a simple one-line description. This stuff is super fun. We've shown some of this to people in the studio, and it's generating a lot of excitement and enthusiasm at the moment. And we're looking forward to getting that kind of released to the public pretty soon. Again, that's just on the build side. When the product's up and running, iNoCode can use artificial intelligence to derive insights and make recommendations that can then be automatically tested. So it's these are changes that can bring about increases to revenue. They can solve user acquisition sticking points, for instance, or they can make the path to purchase much more frictionless. So, just to give an example and add a bit of color to that, it might be that ThoughtForma's intelligence engine has discovered that a user journey in your particular application is far too elongated. It's like a 5-step process to actually purchase something. So ThoughtForma actually suggests collapsing that down to a 2-step process, and therefore just making it much more frictionless and much more simple for the user to actually make a purchase. And then, of course, that all needs to be tested as well. So what ThoughtForma does is it actually creates a variation of the version and automatically pumps that out to a portion of the user base and then analyzes the results. And if those results turn out to be an uptick in that particular KPI, then it can automatically switch it over as well. So this is all pioneering stuff. We believe that intelligent no code, this holistic approach to no code is going to transform the category, and ultimately propel us towards our vision, right, of being able to help people bring their ideas to life.
Yeah, what I love about this whole no-code movement that you're creating here, it feels like the best world of A/B testing your product in real time and making data-informed decisions based on customer behavior and usage, using the power of the crowd for people when they build templates or workflows within ThoughtForma, that you can share that information back to the community and they can use it to build products cheaper, faster, and better. And there's no better person who's worrying about ideas and building them fast than Min, who leads our idea lab here. And one of his favorite businesses he's always trying to build is Uber for cats, and showing him how you were able to build that on the platform in moments. Again, it sort of blew his mind. I think it's blown everyone's mind that you shared it with. And so for folks who are probably sitting here now going like, okay, wow, intelligent no code, or even better, I know code, do you know code? It's just so good. How can they get their hands on this sort of alpha program and get themselves involved in having some real life experience of starting to use this platform to potentially build their Uber for cats?
Yeah, sure. So the alpha program we launched towards the end of last year, actually, and this is really where no-code enthusiasts or product makers and builders, or really people that are just simply curious to know more about this thing that we call intelligent no-code, can sign up and get early access to the platform. So essentially, it's a place for early adopters and giving them a chance to shape the future of the product, really, and become a part of our community that's aimed at, you know, our simple vision of making it so that people can bring their ideas to life. So yeah, shameless plug time. If you're interested in becoming a part of the ThoughtForma Alpha program, then please do check it out. The link is pretty simple. It's thoughtforma.com/alpha, which we'll put in the comments, and go ahead and sign up. We would love to have you play a part in this. And you know, we're looking to make the community quite engaged and energized. We want to involve people, you know, hear people's voices, because realistically, the only way that we're going to make this thing work well for people is for them to tell us whether it's working for them or not, and get the feedback that we need to make the improvements that is going to make this thing happen.
Right. Well, all I can say, Jason, or Gareth as well, as Jason's here jumping online, telling people to go to the site too as well. You know, it's fantastic to have you on the show. I'm just excited to see, again, the constant growth within this business. It's been amazing to follow and cheer on your journey to the twists and turns. I think for other entrepreneurs who are out there listening, highly recommend, you know, look at what they're doing on ThoughtForma, download this alpha program, hear why you might think that the studio may be a place that you could maybe bring your ideas to life. And the great thing about being part of Nobody Studios is really we're looking for everyone, from your talent, your influence and capital. Talent could be bringing your skills to the studio, contributing to companies like ThoughtForma, working or being a developer who can use on top of their platform and help us build companies. Influence is just sharing what we're doing. If you've enjoyed the show today, share with someone who's working in the no-code space, maybe introduce them to the alpha program. And capital is the moment now. We're running this equity crowdfunding, where if you go to republic.com/Nobody Studios, you can own a piece of Nobody Studios, and by default have a stake in great companies like ThoughtForma that we're building. So Gareth, thank you very much for joining us on the show today. I'm sure we're going to have you back. I'm excited to see your own show start to appear as you're learning and sharing, building with your community, and taking iCode to no-code to the next level. Thanks very much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Barry. Loved it.